The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
You have to be strong in today's world. Keep your focus and what you believe in, how to achieve all your dreams. Keep moving forward, never accept less than who you are. Live your best life. Be strong and free. It's the Hits Back with Nahaja.
The Hits Back with Nahaja Black is sponsored by Central Bank, Bahamas Society of Human Resources, Baja Retreat and Spa, and Scotiabank.
Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black.
Good afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome to the Hit Back. I'm your host, Nahaja Black. It is a beautiful day here in the 242. I hope that you are doing well, taking care of yourself, and living your best life. It is a Tuesday, y'all. We don't do Taco Tuesdays. It's a Tuesday, though. I've had a rough weekend of football picks, if y'all don't know. So I pick football games with the Guardian folk, right? And for the past 3, going on 4 years now, I'm always somewhere in the top 5. Now, I don't know if Juan told y'all. Juan is also in the group. And I don't know if he's shared that this season has not been his best, but I can make fun of my good friend because the season just started, you know? But it's been a rough weekend for me. Yesterday's game, it's been a little tough. Nonetheless, we digress. I hope everybody's doing well, taking care of yourself. We've got a good show for you today. Some interesting things conversations that I'm looking forward to having. I don't know if you guys were aware, the Bahamas Development Bank did something very interesting. So they've been pushing this sustainability thing where they're lending to businesses with a sustainable twist, right? And all of this is me eagerly anticipating whatever the Ministry of Natural Resources will be coming out with. I've reached out to Minister Vaughan Miller several times since his acceptance or his appointment as Minister of Natural Resources, and I'm hoping that we will have access to him shortly. I've also reached out to Minister Clay Sweeting, who has a very, very interesting ministry. And why do I call it interesting? Why do I say that it's interesting? Because that ministry, when we talk about price raising, right? The prices of fluctuating of goods coming in, that ministry, agriculture and marine resources, could be so pivotal. It has been. It's supposed to have been from that time. We know the former Minister of Marine Resources and Agriculture and Marine Resources was Michael Pintard, who now sits in opposition, one of the few Free National Movement members who retained a seat. That ministry that Clay Sweeting has, to me, along with the Ministry of Natural Resources, are 2 ministries that can totally begin to shift our economy and our direction if we were to use them and view them as such, right? And also culture, but culture has never been a ministry by itself, right? Culture has never been a ministry by itself, and culture should definitely be a ministry unto itself, one that begins to really tap into who we are and selling and looking at tourism from that vein. So I really do believe that culture should be attached to tourism, and culture not being with tourism is a misstep with regard to our planning of tourism, right? So that's the one thing. But when it comes to agriculture, marine resources, we talk about, like right now, right? The whole world. And I've had multiple conversations today alone. Of course, off of the heel of an article where Mrs. Debbie Sweeting from SuperValue, the CFO of SuperValue, talking about the supply chain, talking about promising or stating that they will not increase prices until after Christmas, until after December. Some person saying, well, the price has already been increased. I can't say whether or not that's the case, because everything always just seems expensive to me. So I don't know if it's the same or not. So now we are all in this place of, should we bring in stuff? What do we do? Do we bulk buy? What do we know about our imports? What do we know about our costs, our debts, our reserves? What do we know? We know that we import 90% of our food supply. Read in the paper, domestic food supply, this was from a statement today by Mr. Sweeting, is 0.8% That, ladies and gentlemen, is a failure on our part to ever diversify. And I mean, diversification in the economy, when we talk about it, we only talk about, oh, we need to change into tourism, or we need to move from that to something else, some form of industry. But one big part of this diversification should be just in the cost bill. Like if you look at your assets and your liabilities, your expenses, your expenditure, you look at what is coming in, your income and your expenditure, your assets and your liabilities. One of the things, if you ever play the game cash flow, there are many ways to try and get out of the rat race, right? Increase your income, reduce your expenses or expenditure, increase your assets, reduce your liabilities, right? There are ways you get out of the rat race, right? You invest and you hope that you do well in your investment, but then you have some form of income so that if you find yourself in an investment strategy, at least you know there'll be money coming in a particular period of time so that it buffers you in your investment cycle. But I digress. I look at it, right? One of the things that you do, you say, okay, listen, man, I'm trying to increase my income. How do I increase my income? In the short term, in the long term or short term, depending on how you do it, you reduce your debt. You reduce some of your expenditures. You look at, where do I spend money? How do I spend money? It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen, that we talk about an annual fiscal budget by the government every year. And that's annual. Of course, that's what annual means. I didn't mean to repeat myself. It was redundant. But we talk about a fiscal budget every year. And a budget goes through how you spend money, where you spend money. And you say, okay, how much do I spend on lunch, eating out? How much do I spend on going to the movies or entertainment? How much do I spend on that? How much do I spend on education, on my children's school fees and books and improving myself? How much do I spend on those things? And then you ask yourself, you go through the list of your expenses. You look at your liabilities. Your mortgage is considered a liability. It's a liability until it becomes an asset. You don't own it until you're done with the mortgage. So it's a liability at this point. So you look at your list and you say, okay, I wonder how much would it take if I wanted to pay this off? And you start looking at the amortization of your mortgage and say, okay, if I pay certain amounts on the principal, then I could get this down to this. It speeds up the process of me paying off my debt, right? And then, so you're trying your best to figure out, how do I cut down on expenses, or how do I increase my income? Because I'm trying to get out of the rat race. And one of the things I don't see, I haven't heard in forever, is looking at all of the things that generate revenue. So imagine also you have businesses and your businesses are affecting your bottom line. That's the government state-owned enterprises. We have businesses, companies, and they affect our bottom line. When you have a business that isn't making money, then what do? You get out of the business. But what if the reason you're not making money is because you're loose with how you spend it or with the transactions of a business? We don't do key performance indicators when it comes to our businesses. We don't do key performance indicators with BPL. Why? We don't do key performance indicators when it comes to water and sewage. Why? We don't do it. Well, we decided not to do it with the best run company, which was BTC at the time, Batalco. We just decided not to do it. You said, Nahaja, but what is all your point? My point is that we talk about diversification and we look at our budget, and one of the main costs to us is the import cost. Just to survive as a country has been the import cost of food. So if I'm looking at this budget and I say, well, for God's sake, we really need to readjust. Look at our debt. We're going to go bankrupt if we stay on this level. When we go to the bank, it's harder for us to borrow to pay Peter and pay Paul. So now we have to look and say, where is it that I'm losing money? Where can I cut down on this loss of money? And the challenge is, we talk about all of the diversification, but we don't change and talk about the diversification or the changing of our own behavior. So now the world is having a shipping challenge. And ladies and gentlemen, we don't have to go far to consider what a shipping challenge would look like for us. When central government is in New Providence, and we can go to Matthew. What happened in that time when we were hit by Hurricane Matthew in New Providence? Commerce kind of stopped, halted. Difference between what happened with Dorian when it was Grand Bahama and Abaco, Business still could go as usual as we try to resolve or restore those islands. When we have the shipping challenge, we cannot feed ourselves. So now we're looking at food suppliers and saying, okay, you're not supposed to raise your price. But we've refused through intention. And when I say we, I'm not talking about I, who have to be at the end, the tail end of the purchasing agreement. I'm not talking about you and I. I'm talking about the policymakers who refuse to give the chicken farmers, without all of the stresses, the funds they need to create this sort of hub of agricultural farming. Those who are favored get the media response. Yeah. But what happened to the small farmers that have been through the corner? Don't beat everybody with the same stick because you gave some crown land to your friend or to someone you know, and instead it became a shanty town, and we've never taken back the land. Don't beat everyone with the same stick. Agriculture and fisheries are two areas that must be, in particular, fisheries should be protected for our citizenry to make funds, but it should not be prohibitive for Bahamians to get in, period. So I don't care if it's a Bahamian woman and she got a foreign husband, that is her right to get into that business. And if her husband won't work, he should work. Let the taxes stay in country. But then when we talk about agriculture, I remember, when the former Minister of Health was firstly the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources. One of the first things that he said was that we would be self-sufficient with chicken, right? By importing up to 90%, I think it was 95% of our own chicken in 2 years. That was 2017. I think that's when it came up. 2017. He was subsequently moved to another ministry. It wasn't health yet. What was it? I can't even remember. And that is what we have. Nothing. Michael Pintard tried very arduously to do some things, but there was no real movement. Abaco farms ended up getting blown away. And they struggled to, I'm not even sure if they reopened. Someone please tell me if they reopened, because I remember them begging just for fuel for ice, to make ice, seeking assistance. We're going to take a quick break. My whole thing is this, ladies and gentlemen. At some point, we're going to have to look at the fact that some things may be intentionally undone, so that the few remain upon their thrones. This conversation about, this piecemeal thing. Today, China donated some greenhouses to us, right? So that we can start off on farming and agriculture. You know how many farming millionaires we used to have? What happened? And now it's up to us as well. My sister-in-law now has chickens. She lays eggs. She lays eggs. Her chickens lay eggs. My sister-in-law now has her own mini chicken, I don't want to say farm, but her own little chicken thingy-majiggy. And we can go over there and bum a dozen. My sister-in-law has a garden that's growing. I don't have a green thumb, so I go into their yard. I can't. I don't have it in me. Can we just get more of our local farmers the resources they need? Okay, Abaco Big Bird did reopen. Thank you very much. Because we need more of them. You got Yellow out there. Where Yellow is? What was that street off of Cowpen? Yellow Farms doing his thing. But these are just minute. And we are the third largest importers of chicken. I think we are in the world. We eat chicken. Yeah, we love up our chicken. We the Negroes who love our chicken. And yet we don't have a sustainable way of even having our own meat. Animal husbandry. We've got people like Dr. Michelle Singh, ready, always willing to teach us how to do animal husbandry. Yeah, we still important things, what we think is cow, what we think is mutton. Y'all don't know what donkey y'all important. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio. We will be back right after.
let's get sugary. Softer, smoother, and amazing skin. Oh, sugar, sugar, we're the sugar ladies. Giving you skin soft as a baby's. Goodbye hair, we'll take good care of you.
Come visit us at Baha'a Retreat Spa on East Bay Street. Contact us at 323-6711 or visit us online at www.baharetreat.com.
You have a new text message from Scotia.
Scotiabank is adding text messaging to its communication channels to keep customers updated in quicker and safer ways. As of November 4th, Scotiabank will be using text messaging to provide notifications on the minimum payment required for your credit card and due dates. Customers may continue to access their credit card statements on Scotia Online or through our mobile banking app. Learn more by contacting customer care-Bahamas at scotiabank.com or call 356-1697.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Loss Adjusters.
Afternoon. First look at traffic now. We see an active traffic flow happening all across New Providence at this point. Taking a look now at Tony's Million Dollar Highway. First, when we look at the roundabout on the west end, that's a mile up on the highway. We know about the traffic congestion that comes in on the west end coming in from JFK, and also what's coming in through the Sports Center in front of Millennium Gardens, the 2 lanes of traffic that comes into that roundabout from that end, and also the minor slow up of traffic going into the roundabout on Tony's Million Dollar westbound lanes. But moving further up on Tony's Million Dollar to the east end, by the Blue Hill Road intersection, you've got a traffic line there as well. Once you get off the roundabout at Bahama Games Boulevard, prepare to hit the brakes because you're going to meet that traffic line headed into the Blue Hill Road roundabout that slows your ride down. Both corridors off Robinson Road, that is Blue Hill Road South and East Street South, already crowded with the slow traffic going into the roundabouts ahead. And the roundabout there on East Street also being slowed by the traffic coming off East-West Highway. So you're going to meet a slight congestion coming off East-West Highway to get into the roundabout there. Traffic in the south not quite built up yet, but you will be riding the brakes a bit, especially when you get over Blue Hill Road, passing the Carmichael Road intersection, and the ride further south on Blue Hill Road. East Street, not built up yet, just the south lane headed into Pinewood Gardens and South Beach will give you some minor delays. Chris South Drive, though, you will experience a solid flow of cars all the way into the Marathon Road intersection. Bernard Road, very crowded in both lanes. Moving along West Bay Street from about the Chippenham area into the Saunders Beach roundabout, we're going to stay with you during the afternoon time to see either traffic builds up or slows down in a moderate amount of time. This NASA traffic report is service of J.S. Johnson, the only insurance agents and brokers giving you peace of mind in the Bahamas for over 100 years. Follow them at 397-2100. That's 397-2100 for more info. With you around the sky, look at traffic in real time. I'm VAAA.
Michael was in a horrible car accident. Prudential Loss Adjusters managed his claim and got him the settlement he deserved. Sierra's roof received hurricane damage. Thanks to Prudential, she and her kids are happy with their claim settlement. Tammy fractured her ankle in a slip and fall. Prudential saved her time, money, and peace of mind. Prudential Loss Adjusters are here for you whenever a tragedy strikes. Call 322-4026 now.
Don't wait for disaster to strike. This hurricane season, be ready. Protect your home with an affordable and comprehensive home insurance policy from Shield Insurance. You can't control what nature blows your way, but with Shield Insurance, you can rest easy as you ride out the storm. Protect your largest and most valuable investment. Don't take a chance. Put your home in our hands.
Shield Insurance agents and brokers in Nassau. Call 356-7202 or Freeport 352-5945.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Someone sent a text. With that said, the reason why we can't make money, Bahamians can't make money from farming, is because we as Bahamians don't support each other. I think that that's interesting. I don't know if it's, I do believe that we have a very Eurocentric position, right? Where we do believe that level of insecurity, most times that foreign is better right? That our minds, our thoughts won't be able to comprehend that what is done in the States is far superior. But you ever had imported avocado versus native avocado? Imported pineapple versus native? What them things is there's be bringing in called mango. They ain't ready. No, ain't nothing better than a Bahamian avocado. Lord, let me tell you, my mummy tree, all the dogs help fertilize that tree. That tree, the avocados on that tree, from that tree, so saved. You know, all of the pets just fertilize that tree. And now 30 years later, that tree just gives you the best fruit. Oh my God. I just tell you, things you import ain't ready. It ain't ready. No. What is this mango they got on the shelf? You ever try to get one of them imported avocado? Them things, so you open it, it already rotten. How outside green and inside rotten? Sorcery. It's sorcery. It's the level of sorcery y'all ain't ready for with these things they import, right? What about these limes? You ever have a native lime tree? Native lime trees are the best, yeah? Because you cut into these corky lime in the store, from the store, you rolling them like you're kneading dough. Pray in this lemon will give you some zest, give you something. But you get one of these hybrid lime trees from here, which supposedly was supposed to be orange, ended up manifesting being lemon. You make the meanest switcher. And then the little round lime trees that are native, yeah. Don't watch nothing. Now, I ain't gonna lie now. You got these, you got native guava. They ain't ready for the Cuban native guava. Them Cuban guava. Woo, chat. Those Cuban guavas. Well, wait a minute. I tell you, Castro could he could be a communist in my book if they give me those native guavas in Cuba. I'm kidding. I do not want communism. But I'm telling you, our stuff that we bring in, our stuff that we come in, you had native tomatoes. We don't use all of that stuff. We don't use them things what there's used on theirs. Fresh. Got these, I don't know what uncircumcised Philistinian work they do with these things they bring in country. I want my fresh stuff. You ever get chicken from yellow out of cow pen? Fresh chicken. I mean, you cut that. I mean, it rank it so fresh. Woo, child, good stuff. Anyways, we got a call on the line. Call, you're on the head back. Welcome.
Hey, Nahaja, how you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm pretty good, my dear. Listen, man. Do you know that even though you're saying that we should grow our chicken, do you know we import the chicks? Do you know that?
We import what? Sorry?
We import the chicks.
We import. I heard we import something, and I didn't hear that last time.
We import the chicks.
Oh, really? Yes.
So if we importing the chicks, why not import the whole chicken? Because here's what we got. First of all, farming in the Bahamas encourage migrant laborers. And you know those migrant laborers, they work for you for a year, then they go find something else to do. So you don't want to encourage that. And then compare the cost of the product, right? Chicken grown in the Bahamas is sold for so much more than chicken grown in the United States. And then when you talk about pineapple, you mentioned pineapple earlier.
Yes.
If I could probably buy, if a wholesaler can buy pineapples at $5 a dozen in South America, and then come to the Bahamas, you're probably paying about $7 for one. Where do you think he should get his pineapple from? Shouldn't the consumer be able to save on the cost? Huh?
Yes, you're right on that.
I mean, so one time ago, labor was free in the Bahamas when they were slaves, and farming failed then because of our quality of our soil. And now we have labor that comes with a cost. And you think farming is going to work in this country? No, it's not working.
Well, I mean, but farming is okay. So let's go with that. That farming labor was free then. Of course, free labor will always make you rich. Look at the United States. The United States made its whole economy seem like the greatest country in the world based off of free labor. It was wrong, immoral, and everyone can be successful if you don't have to pay for labor. What we have is economies of scale. The challenge that we have is that instead of us having where the cost of goods are reduced for us because we're so small in number, we don't have the ability to reduce costs. So to fertilize your land is a more arduous task than if you had the tools to fertilize your land. So like major farmers. So what do we do then? Those are problems that we come together and figure out how to solve. How do we reduce the cost overall for production? But we can't say, hey, labor is the issue. Labor has always been the issue. Now, one of the things that I think would be open as a suggestion, that's how we ended up with all of the Haitian nationals in Abaco, is that they were there for farming purposes. So what are we saying is that, do we need to import more labor?
No,
I don't know. We got a lot of shanty towns with people who are already here. You can always have folks work. I mean,
my lady, the best thing to do is import your product if you can get it at a cheaper rate. The same way we import our fuel and everything else, we should import.
Yeah, but that's not national security.
That's not
national security. That's not national security. You're not national. You're not secure. If something happens in the United States, you're a major importer. What happens to your food security?
Could we do anything without fuel in this country?
And again, is that national security?
No, but you see, the thing it is, you got to go where you get the best buck for your dollar. Now, if something happen in the United States, then we got to find a different market to get our stuff from. That's all it is. The world is small. It's not as big as it used to be. You just get we got container ports here in the Bahamas. So we can get food from anywhere. South America, Africa, China, anywhere. So saying that if the U.S. go to a war, something happens, listen, man, we cannot continue to destroy our country by bringing foreign laborers in. You keep on inviting poor people to this country. When you invite poor people to your country, you increase the crime rate. There's nothing to gain from that.
Yeah, but no one is advocating for bringing in more labor. You brought up the fact that labor was free then. So
labor
we're not
was
talking,
free
you can't have free labor.
Here's what I'm saying. Labor was free during slavery. And the yield was poor because of the quality of our soil. The yield was poor. Now the labor comes with an expense. Yet the yield is still poor. But all we get from that is the ability to say, oh, we grow our own potato, or we grow our own watermelon, or our pineapple, or what have you. But at the same time, when we do that, because you ain't going to be able to pay. See, the average farm labor probably only makes about $30 a day, right? He probably doesn't even work a full day because the farmer can't pay him a full day. But he makes about $30 a day. And that's what he survives on. You can't pay a behemoth $30 a day. And when that farm labor makes $30 a day, he finds himself committing crimes. He finds himself stealing from the farmer, going there and eating all his goods, setting shop up on the farm, selling all the farmer fruit and vegetables. So farming in the Bahamas has really never been an advantageous thing. Now, you can have a small farm, fine. You can have a small farm, you can grow some produce.
You don't know any farming millionaires, former farming millionaires?
Listen, man, you do have that, but then you have corruption that comes along with it. When I talk about corruption, like one time ago, when the farmer here in Grand Bahama was farming, he made sure that the politician prohibit the importation of certain produce, right? So that means he sold his produce at a very high cost.
Yeah.
Chicken, very high cost. Because, all you got to do is get them a campaign fund and they outlaw everything. Oh, you can't bring in this no more. You can't bring in that no more. And he could put a high price on his product. You understand? And that's what they did. So it's best that we simply import our product, pay the least amount of duty on it, and don't worry about it. Stop worrying about farm laborers and trying, we need food security. Food security exists all over the world. We can import those things just as we import our clothes, our fuel, our vehicles, and everything else. We can import those stuff. Let's not try to foolish ourselves and believe in that. Hey, listen, once we start growing our stuff, we can support ourselves. I mean, how many things you grow that you eat on the table? Really, how many things you grow? What are the things that you grow out packaged?
I grow nothing. I personally,
most of the things that you eat is packaged.
Yeah.
It's something that comes in a box.
I think we can agree to disagree. I do believe that there must be a form of social national security in terms of sustainability. You cannot risk being held hostage by anything or anyone, even when it comes to negotiating in your foreign affairs. But I do hear what you're saying, and you have a good point in one area where you say, listen, the world is flat. And when I say that, I'm not trying to be Kyrie Irving. I'm saying that you're right, that globalization has allowed us to reach across the divide, right? To reach and to garner things. But we're seeing that there is some challenges where the world will stop and things will increase in cost. And those costs then relate to the average man. And if there is a way we can reduce not just the costs, but to ensure that we're not being held hostage. You got to be able to feed your own people. I think that is fundamental in national security. But caller, thank you. I appreciate the commentary very much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, darling. Take care.
All right. So I think there was a point there, and I to some extent I get what he's saying, right? Someone said I don't agree because now we are seeing the reason we should have local food sustainability. I agree with that. I think that right now what we're seeing is that there's a need for sustainability. There's a need to protect yourself and your community, especially not just, you got to realize that you have to protect your sovereignty. If a country, the United States does this all the time, leveraging smaller nations and reducing aid. If you want someone to fall on your side, you reduce some form of aid, right? So you can actually reduce aid. Tell your allies, hey, listen, we don't, you know what? Right now we have an issue with Iran. Let's ease up on that. We have an issue with Lebanon. Y'all stop sending food. What happens then? You have no leverage. You have no leverage. It's like in a bad relationship with the bank. You ain't got no leverage, right? So then you have to be far more strategic. Also, God forbid that the United States finds itself with its port under fire. Its major export ports almost all of our imports come through the states and to us. And I have to find out how much of the goods from China goes through Hutchison Whampoa in Grand Bahama, then comes to us? Or does it go through Hutchison, go up to the United States, and then come back to us? The shipping channels. So those things are questions. You have to be able to ensure that your leverage is there, right? And food security, as someone says, is a form of national security. We got to call her real quick, and then I want to switch to my other guests. Caller, you're on the head back. Welcome.
Hi, Nahaja. I totally agree with you, and I disagree with that caller because, like you said, we cannot be held hostage by another country who is supplying to us. That's one. And on the other hand, we have to be aware of what is going into our food with all of this genetically modified products. At least if we grow it here, we'll get back to basics where we know exactly what we're eating and what we're putting in the bodies of our children. You know, so many diseases is because of the genetically modified food.
Yes.
We have to get back to the earth, really to the earth, without it being touched. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you so much for the call. And I agree. I mean, listen, a lot of our kids are obese. A lot of us are obese. We're eating genetically modified foods. We're eating processed foods. Does that, are we able to adjust and move forward to being more, listen, I don't think this is hard work, you know. I really don't. I think it's an issue of intention. Do we intentionally want to move to a different direction? All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to switch gears because talking about sustainability, we're also going to move to the next level of sustainability. Bahamas Development Bank, our unit head for these type of initiatives, Samaya Cargill, will be joining us to talk about this new initiative that BDB is doing to help us to get more environmentally friendly. We'll be back right after.
What happened to you? You look like you lost your paycheck.
Man, I just realized I got scammed out of a bunch of money. They said I won this contest and just needed me to send them some money so I could collect. I mean, to expedite something. Or was it to smooth the process?
Man, you're smarter than that. Protect yourself against scams and fraud by following these tips. If you know you didn't enter a competition, you can't win. Never pay to receive a cash prize. If you're being asked, you're being scammed. Check trusted internet sites for verification of information given to you. Do not give your banking details to people you don't know. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Monitor your bank account regularly for any questionable transactions. Get more information at getmoneysmartbahamas.com.
Calling all HR professionals. It's Human Resources Professionals Week. Join us for the 41st Annual BSHRM Conference and Expo, Friday, October 29th, 2021. Hear from our 18 industry-leading speakers, enjoy lunch powered by Craven, visit exhibitors in our virtual expo, and so much more. To learn more, email us at conferencebsherm@gmail.com. We'll see you at BSHRM Conference 2021.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Some text messages. Imported meats and fruits are not healthy. It takes months, and years for the stuff to come into the Bahamas. That's unhealthy. Here it takes weeks. That's healthy. Someone says, ain't nothing wrong with our soil. Some people want chemicalized food growth, and then we will really have a sick nation. Someone says, we have enough to produce our food, just that the powers refuse time and time again to do what is needed for production. Definitely heard that. And I know we have some callers, but callers, please hold your time there. Call me back right after the break. I want to get to my guests who are coming on the show with us, Samaya Cargill and Pia Farmer. I want to welcome you both on. Samaya Cargill from the Bahamas Development Bank. And I want everyone, Samaya, can you hear me? Can you unmute yourself, Samaya? Are you there? There you go.
Hi, Nahaja. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, I'm telling you now,
Great to
Pia
be
Farmer, Pia Farmer also joining us from Easy Car Sales. But before we get to Pia, I want to chat with you, Samaya. First of all, I want to let people know who you are. You are the unit head of strategic development and initiatives at the Bahamas Development Bank. Why I'm excited to have you and why we decided to do this. This is not a paid spot at all. Okay, this is something that when I heard about the initiative, Samaya, I was really excited about it because it isn't the first time that I've heard in recent weeks of the Bahamas Development Bank actually seeking out or seeking to do business with a more sustainable angle. Is that appropriate to say, a more sustainable angle, a more sustainable approach to business investment, where you want to put your money in terms of investment? Is that an appropriate analysis that I'm saying here? Samaya? Oh, did I lose you? Samaya, are you there? Oh, man, I think...
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Okay, good.
Can you hear me, Nahaja?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So the Development Bank is mandated to support economic development, diversification, and expansion. And that means empowerment for Bahamians, both in the present and in the future. So that's translated into a focus on more sustainable development. So the Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris Climate Agreement, so we can have an economy that works for us today as well as tomorrow. Over the past 40 so years, the Development Bank has provided financing for many cornerstone businesses that you see around in your community. But in the last 3, we've really focused and honed in on how we can bring about more sustainable development in the country. So we want to provide financing for businesses, projects, ideas that are going to make an impact, that are going to make people's lives better in a tangible way, right? And so we're factoring in things like youth inclusion, gender equity, gender parity, family island inclusion. I heard you talking earlier about agricultural production. That's really important to us because the Sustainable Development Goals focus on small scale producers. How do we really scale them up? At the individual level, a farmer can really only do so much by their own, on their own. And many food exporting countries provide subsidies technical assistance, research, etc., to help support those farmers. And without that supporting infrastructure, it brought new industries, diversify. So that is where the development, why we are really part of this initiative that we're doing kind of in partnership with Easy Car, the 100% financing program.
Yeah, and I want to thank you so much for that. And we're breaking up just a little bit, but what you guys are doing now, and I'm glad that you mentioned it, what you guys are doing now is an interesting one. It's an initiative to get folks driving electric vehicles. And tell me a bit about it, because I want one. So now I know business now, so I got to figure out how to make that work. But tell me about this now, because I love businesses. I love when, I know the BDB has always been about how do we improve businesses in country. I love the sustainable angle. And this is something where businesses now can take advantage of something that I also love, which is electronic vehicles. I have a bias toward this. So when I saw it, I was excited. So tell me a bit about this. Uh-oh. Samaya, did we lose you again? Huh? Oh boy, I think we lost her again. So we lost Samaya again. But I want to bring on, whilst we wait for Samaya to get back on, Pia, are you there, Pia Farmer? Are you there? What is this? What is going on with the internet today? It's like one of those like ninja vibes. You can't get anyone on anything right now. So we're going to have to. So one of the things, and it's unfortunate because I really wanted you guys to hear this, because what is being done by the Bahamas Development Bank is, if you are a business, if you are a small business or any type of business, and you wish to get yourself an electric vehicle, you can get an electric vehicle. And I want to make sure I read this right now, because I thought it was so fancy. That you can get your business an electric vehicle with full financing from Bahamas Development Bank as one of the sustainability initiatives. You know what it is. If I had a business license today, that don't sound safe at all, but I would have. Trust me, I would have. You're there, Samaya?
No, a third of a lag between me.
Oh, okay. All right, this is too. It's unfortunately what we'll do is try and get you guys on the line on another time, because of course the internet is just terrible, and I really want this to be a discussion that we have, because I want to know more about what other initiatives BDB is doing, because that's a big deal. And if you guys can, we'll figure it out for another show. And it's so unfortunate, but that's one of the things that I think is exciting. When we talk about sustainability, and you guys can feel free to text. Someone says, hello, Nahaja and guest. One of the things that is so important when we talk about sustainability is, how do we make it so where everyone can be a part of sustainability? So we talk also about solar panels, right? And I think my internet is a bit shoddy as well, right? But we talk about solar panels. Yeah. So, we talk about solar panels, and a lot of people can't have access to solar panels. A lot of people can't afford it. So then it's not sustainable. It has to be able to be affordable for it to become sustainable. And now we need to integrate into the costing of even home repair. Maybe we just do it where, if not just home repair, but we're building, you see. But now you have to deal with BPL, right? You have to deal with BPL, where BPL won't even allow you to have this thing off grid, where you have to give into the grid, and you still got to have a meter and all of this stuff. But we need to move to a sustainable country. So Ministry of Natural Resources, Marine Resources, and Agriculture, those two ministries should be off the front of our list of information. And Samaya, let me see if I can get you again. We'll try it one more time. Let me know if you're there. Unmute your mic. Let's see if you're there, Samaya.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here, Nahaja, but I'm not sure that you can hear me.
I can hear you now, loud and clear.
Okay, awesome.
All right. So tell us about this initiative. Tell me about this initiative with Easy Car and the electric vehicles.
So this really happens because the Development Bank has been selected to be the national direct access for the entity for the Green Climate Fund. So that means that for any business or project that wants to get financing from GCF, they would have to go through the through the Bahamas Development Bank. And we can also do project concept notes and proposals. And we're applying under the micro category of GCF, which is up to $10 million. So GCF considers a micro project $10 million. We're trying to see if we can get it under the small category under GCF, which is $50 million. So if we could, successful, there's a lot of money out there for climate adaptation and mitigation, and BDB is trying to bring that money to the Bahamas. And so part of that is looking for projects and opportunities to put money into these climate resilient activities. So we reached out to EasyCar to figure out, what are you doing in your business? How can we, jump in and support what you're doing? Because you're obviously doing great things. And what we found was that electric cars make a lot of sense in the long term. So, you have a lower fuel cost, you have lower maintenance costs, but like many climate initiatives, like solar panels you just mentioned, they're very capital intensive upfront. You're paying quite a lot of money, $40, $50, $60, sometimes $80,000 for a vehicle. And that's a lot for a business to take on at one time. In many cases, they would be asked to even make a down payment, and the down payment is high. And what we want businesses to do is have longer, lower payments so they can focus on building their businesses and growing sustainably in what they're doing. So what we decided to do was ask for non-objection from the Ministry of Finance, because it's something new for us, if we could do 100% financing on electric vehicles and also 100% financing on solar systems. So we got non-objection on both, actually. Yes, we did. But solar panels are a little bit more complicated because of some of the legal ramifications of lending for a structure on a roof. So we're trying to work through that and figure out how best we can get out 100% financing for solar systems, right, for businesses.
Whenever y'all figure that out, I want to be the first to know. I got a roof. I have a roof.
Do you have a home-based business? Because then, maybe you can maybe you need a solar system. And I think that these 100% financing programs are some of the quickest and easiest ways that we can take advantage of the low-hanging fruits. So, the ideal situation is solar system in combination with electric car. So there you're generating your own power, you're generating your own fuel. The electric vehicle can actually serve as a generator for your house when there's a blackout. So, it's a great solution for businesses. So it makes sense for us to do that from the business perspective. And on top of that, having a licensed distributor in the Bahamas that offers a warranty on these vehicles, it gives us some confidence that it's a less risky activity and that we can offer this 100% financing product for qualifying businesses.
And if you're just tuning in, Samaya Cargill, Bahamas Development Bank, Samaya is, and I have to always remember because this is a fancy title, Unit Head of Strategic Development and Initiatives. And also, just for the record, in case y'all didn't know, she's an industrial engineer. Just throw that out there. Y'all don't sleep on Samaya. She's sorely overqualified for everything she does.
You're too kind,
but quite honest, I'll tell you now. Anyways, I want you, because this, for me, what the excitement is, and like I said, the electric vehicle, when you understand what all it adds to you, it brings to the fore in terms of lack of repair, the length of time you can ride it, no need for repair, and then that get up and go. But that's a whole, I ain't trying to sell a car here because I already rode one. I need to figure out how to afford one. This one here, this BDB one ain't for me. I got to open up a new license and figure out how I need this car. But you didn't hear me say any of that on air. Let me see if I can join.
Well, Nahaja, if you can hear me, we are trying.
I can hear you. You're welcome.
Finally. We are trying. Listen, Sumaya has summarized everything. There is really very little to add. EasyCar Sales is thrilled that the Bahamas Development Bank is offering some incentives. And trust me when I tell you that we're working very hard behind the scenes to get financial incentives for the general public to be able to access electric vehicles. Because as soon as you have an electric vehicle, your savings are great. You pay $1 to BPL plugging in at home instead of $5 at the gas station. Service is very minimal. Reliability, it's consistent. It's like your fan at home, you turn it on, you turn it off, you turn it on, and it just works.
That's right.
Sumaya mentioned about the sustainability and the empowerment. That's the word that is very important with an electric car. You are empowered to plug in at home, not to rely on having to go out to gas stations or mechanics. Only once a year you plug into a diagnostic tool that gives you a report. They're very simple. There are 1,000 fewer parts in an electric car than a gas car to service, maintain, replace, or end up in the dump. But another point that has to be brought up is that the Bahamas spends almost 13% of our GDP importing fossil fuels.
Wow.
And a third of that is for transportation. So if we can start to reduce the amount of fossil fuels that we require, we're spending less of our foreign reserves, we're keeping more money at home. And in combination with solar, it is, of course, ideal. And as a nation, we have certain goals to have 30% of our energy mix be renewables by 2030. It will probably happen faster, but that is our goal. But in the meantime, a gallon of gas transformed into electricity takes you 4 times further. So if you have a gallon of gas that is being made, or oil that's being made into gasoline, it's 4 times more efficient in an electric car than in a gas car.
Hold on. And Pia, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to get folks, because we got to go. I want to get folks, Sumaya, let folks know how they can get apply for this and who's qualified, because I know we have to go to break and my producer's saying cut. So as quickly as possible, let me know.
As quickly as possible, you have to be a startup or an existing business with a 60% Bahamian ownership. The car should have to be in the current calendar year. So that's a 2021 or 2022 to qualify for the 100% financing. We're going to need some proof that you can pay for the vehicle on a monthly basis, whether that's projections, whether it's a contract. We're going to need your standard banking KYC documents, and we're going to need a quote from Pia those at Easy Car so that we know how much money you need. And they can
pretty easy.
Get the application. Go to bdb.gov.bs. It's under our MSME Financing Center. The application is all on one page. You upload everything. It's sent virtually, automatically. It's a simplified process.
And you can also go to Easy 242, and there's a link there as well.
Ladies, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I apologize for all of our hiccups there, but of course, we'll do this again. So Maya, it was a pleasure to meet you. Pia, as always, a pleasure here. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. This is a fast-paced show. We have to do a whole show just on food sustainability because I've got your text messages. But when we come back, there is a multi-million-dollar business industry that has been in shock from COVID-19. How do we get it back up and running? And you are affected by it. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
You have to be strong in today's world. Keep your focus and what you believe in, how to achieve all your dreams. Keep moving forward, never accept less than who you are. Live your best life. Be strong and free. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. It's the Hit Back.
And we're back. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Wherever you are, happy that you are with us today. As usual, I have some of the greatest supporters and listeners to the show. I appreciate you wherever you are around the world, wherever you are in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, in your car, at home, watching me on cable, listening on cable. I appreciate you. For those who are ardent, just major supporters of Guardian Radio, we love and appreciate you too. You could be doing anything else, listening to any other show, and you decide to be here with us today. So thank you so much for that. I've got joining us now. So a major industry, right? So a major industry that we know of, but we don't think about per se. has been going through its own challenges with, it's going through its own challenges. This means it's literally been suffocated in a way. COVID-19 has is trying to cripple this industry. This industry in the Bahamas is a multi-million-dollar industry. And I have joining me now is to talk about this industry. And I think we all know it, but we don't see it. If you don't work in it, you don't feel it. And consider the vast amount of businesses that are attached to this industry. So I want to welcome on the show with me right now, and I've got two wonderful people. I know them well, both individually. I didn't realize that I knew them together. I didn't know they knew each other, but that's a small world, eh? So I've got joining me from the Bahamas Bridal Association, but they're not just talking about Bahamas bridal stuff, right? They're also talking about major events and the events industry, like anniversaries, weddings, just any major event. I've got joining me today, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Ken Burrows and we've got Cindy, and we're gonna fix this guy so you all look, fantastic. Ken Burrows and Cindy Knowles. Ken Burrows, the VP of Bahamas Bridal Association, and Cindy Knowles, the president of it. Lady and gent, welcome to the show.
Hey. Hi, Nahaja. Long overdue. How you doing?
Long overdue. And listen, I'm so happy that you guys joined me today because I think it's time that we have this discussion, right?
Yes.
We're having this discussion because I think it's, we're talking economy, right? We're always talking now, it's the big thing, our health and the economy.
Yeah.
And then the health of the economy. One is the major issue or different industries that have been affected by COVID-19. I had a few bridal store owners. I think I had a bridal store owner. I know I had a bridal store owner from, what's the name of my bridal store? Where Tommy Stubbs is the owner. What's the name of that bridal store? You remember?
No.
They do the whole bridal show every year. Why can't I have buttons? Buttons.
Yes.
Yes. And I had them on midway somewhere in through the pandemic, and they were just talking about the effects of it, weddings, right? How the weddings are being affected. But you two are going to tell me a bit too about not just weddings, but the entire event industry in the Bahamas, how it has been affected by COVID-19, what events normally would happen, what degree of, how many businesses are affected in this. And both of you are business owners as president and VP. So Cindy, I'll start with you as president of the Bahamas Bridal Association and also a business owner yourself within the event and entertaining field. Tell us what's going on.
Well, first of all, thank you so much. This is such a timely topic. Just think of the time of the year that we are approaching. Usually festive time as we head towards the holidays. And, locally and internationally, people are talking about celebrating, getting together, events. Events in itself is a social thing. So when you talk about social distancing, you're talking about something that definitely affects how do we do events. And we, particularly in the Bahamas Bridal Association, but for events at large, we refuse to take a position of roll over and play dead and let this pandemic kill this industry. The event industry in the Bahamas is an industry that feeds thousands. Now, Nahaja, when you think about the many vendors or many businesses that's affected by the event industry, by small business owners, it's amazing the numbers continue to grow. We're talking about from the transportation providers, the florists, the cake artists, event planners, event designers, your marriage officers, entertainers, photographers, videographers, caterers. All of those persons, those are families that are fed through the event industry. And then, thanks to the pandemic, I guess, if we're going to be grateful in any way, there is two non-traditional areas that has been forced to develop and grow faster than we had anticipated it would. And that's of course, the technology part of events.
Yeah.
As it relates, and Ken, my VP and partner in crime, he's more techie than I am, and he'll elaborate in detail on that. But definitely live streaming. Look at how we're communicating right now. This is not just for this purpose, but this also affects events, how we can do events, whether it's for our destination clients or for our local clients. And then there's the lighting decor. Now that we have this thing where we have to be on screen, everybody want to make sure the lighting is right, perfect. So it's not as simple as just go and turn on a switch and you're good. All of that goes into making the event a memorable experience. All of these persons, all these vendors have been affected by this pandemic, but we cannot afford to let it kill us. We cannot afford to let this pandemic kill our business, per se, for lack of a better phrasing. But so we all have to be creative on how do we survive? How do we get this business growing? How do we make it sustainable and continue to feed our families? And that's and that's what we want to talk about today. How do we do that? And we are venturing into many ways on how this can be done. How some of the ways that at least members of the Bahamas Bridal Association have found to be successful with so far. We're brainstorming. We are being creative. And you would know that we do have a conference coming up that's going to provide persons in the event industry with the tools, the information, give them the exposure on how do we survive as an industry with this in this current climate. How do we stay safe and make money? Safe in every aspect.
I think that's what's interesting there. How do you stay safe and make money, right? This climate, this time that we're in. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We got special guests joining us. Cindy Knowles, president of the Bahamas Bridal Association. Ken Burrows, VP of the Bahamas Bridal Association. Plus business owners in their own right. And I need to figure out, I would say, Cindy, remind me of the name of your wonderful business, but I have that information here, so let me do that. All right. So
Destination Angels International, we're an event planning and concierge business.
And most importantly, mother of the best boys in the world.
The best boys in the world, yes. Thomas and Thaddeus. And, if I don't say that, then I will be disciplined strongly tonight. So
No. And I like you, Cindy. We's people, we's family.
Yes. I appreciate that. Thank you.
And then, of course, Ken Burrows, CEO of Expressions Entertainment. And for the record, Ken, I've known you as a musician for almost all my life.
Yeah.
So, mind you, my life must be, ended short because we ain't see each other in probably 10 years.
I know. Still there. Keep the dream alive.
Keep it alive, my boy. Keep it alive. So this is where it's interesting for me, you two, where many people don't understand. And you guys hit on which type of businesses are affected. But let's talk about money generated, right? How much money does the event industry in and of itself? And why I want to ask this question is because I want folks to understand why this isn't airy-fairy. This is economy. This is the economic outlook of your country. This is an engine that many people don't see working because they work in tandem. So I book a wedding, I got to get a caterer, I got to get the dress, I got to, probably use a dry cleaner for some suits. There's a whole lot of people who are affected just from one event, right? And then there are other events. So if I want, to celebrate my father's 65th, normally I would want a caterer and I want to have tents and I need chairs. Those things are affected as well. When you look at it from the economic side of it, how much money have you guys been able to get that sort of data, what your industry makes?
Well, without going into exact numbers, you're absolutely right. This is $1 billion industry. We have many DMC companies, destination management companies, will tell you they have major companies throughout the world bringing their employees here for incentive trips. Conferences, celebrations. So when you see DMC here in Nassau bringing in a Coca-Cola, a Dunkin' Donuts, a Home Depot, they're bringing hundreds of people, housing them. First of all, they got to get from the airport. You're talking transportation. So that there's a cost involved there. Okay, if they're staying, of course they're staying in hotels. There's a cost involved there. There's the government's tax that is paid per person as they come in. So just one event, that's not even a wedding. And you would find that from December to May, from December of this year through May of the following year, those are the major times when you have incentive programs coming here by the busloads. And that you have those are peak times when persons from up north are planning, they're having their celebrations here, whether it's a wedding or family reunion. So it is certainly a billion-dollar industry. And while 2020 seemed to drop those numbers, we can safely say from a destination point, as it relates to destination events, officials at Ministry of Tourism, for example, have reported that we're on track to be doing as well as we were pre-pandemic, pre-COVID. So that around 2019, our numbers are looking on track for the event, for tourism coming in, and for the most part for the events, the destination events. So that's not even looking at the numbers that we're deriving from local events. Right. Okay. I would venture to say that unfortunately, there hasn't been proper tracking of that data. But look at us, Bahamians, we go, we bougie, we get into, I need to hire my event planner. I need to hire an event, not just a planner, I need an event designer, I need an event manager. And each of those persons.
And musicians.
And each of those persons you're hiring, they have a staff. And then, of course, it's having an event with just a DJ is not enough anymore, whether you're a local client or destination. We want the full experience. We want our guests to have more than just listen to music. There might be a saxophonist for the first hour of the event. There might be a violinist. There might be dancers. I mean, Ken is the entertainment guy.
Yeah, that's what I know.
Entertainers.
Yeah.
To tell you about, but all of this contributes to the money that's going into this, that's coming from this event industry. And we all have, like you say, whether it's the costume or the linen that we're using for the event, they're going to the cleaners.
Yeah.
So there is almost hardly any industry or any business out there, any corporate business out there that is not affected by what the event industry is doing. So if we're going to die out, there will be a big hole in...
Huge vacancy.
Yes. So we can't afford to do that. We refuse to do that. So
how do you guys survive, though? How does... Because this, and again, I really want this to be loud and clear that there's an entire industry, a mechanism that needs some attention to be paid to. Right?
Yeah.
Because
how
do you survive this? Because there's a lot of businesses.
Yeah, we have to trust the professionals. We have to trust. Let me tell you, like the destination companies that bring their business to us, the destination bride that brings their business, the destination families that bring their business, they trust the professionals here. They trust that whether if they're staying at a resort, take for example the Hilton. We're at the Hilton now. Hilton being an international company,
right?
We trust that they have a clean stay program in place. You have to trust that. You have to trust that your professional, the entertainer, the planner, they have gone through the protocol of making sure that you and your guests are going to be safe.
Let's hold that thought. When we come back, we'll have more on this discussion. And I love that you say, hey, listen, we have to ensure that trust the professionals. Give the professionals a chance to show that they can be responsible for themselves and their business. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja, Black Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
What happened to you? You look like you lost your paycheck.
Man, I just realized I got scammed out of a bunch of money. They said I won this contest and just needed me to send them some money so I could collect. I mean, to expedite something. Or was it to smooth the process?
Man, you're smarter than that. Protect yourself against scams and fraud by following these steps. If you know you didn't enter a competition, you can't win. Never pay to receive a cash prize. If you're being asked, you're being scammed. Check trusted internet sites for verification of information given to you. Do not give your banking details to people you don't know. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Monitor your bank account regularly for any questionable transactions. Get more information at getmoneysmartbahamas.com.
Calling all HR professionals. It's Human Resources Professionals Week. Join us for the 41st Annual B-Sherm Conference and Expo, Friday, October 29th, 2021. Hear from our 18 industry-leading speakers, enjoy lunch powered by Craven, visit exhibitors in our virtual expo, and so much more. To learn more, email us at conferencebsherm@gmail.com. We'll see you at B-Sherm Conference 2021.
Have you heard about the COVID vaccine raffle? If you are vaccinated against COVID-19, you can enter to win amazing prizes like food store gift certificates, hotel stays, beach excursions, and so much more. Even if you are previously vaccinated, you can still enter to win. The COVID vaccine is free, safe, and protects you from severe COVID-19 infections. Don't delay. Get vaccinated today and enter to win. Visit www.baxbahamas.com to register.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back.
And we're back. It's 5:23 here in New Providence. I hope that everybody's doing well, taking care of yourself in New Providence, in the Bahamas, on the Eastern Standard Time. That's the time in New Providence. I'm having that kind of day. I could really use some coffee with my carbonated water, but it's not happening. I got some special guests joining me on the show. Okay, so we're talking about an entire industry, this events industry, this entertainment industry, this thing that we call the bridal industry, this whole thing where we do major events in country. But we have representing us with us, the Bahamas Bridal Association President and Vice President, Cindy Knowles, and Ken Burrows joining us on the show. When we left off, Cindy and Ken, we were talking about how do we survive. Ken, from your vantage point as a musician, as someone whose company deals with entertainment, and I'm sure that's one hell of an important industry. Like I wish I had your business right now. I wish I was smart enough, but not right now. Or I mean, like before or after. I don't know about right now. We'll figure that out. But tell us, how were you guys surviving? And Cindy was saying something really interesting, saying, hey, listen, you got to trust the professionals.
Yeah, so I mean, Cindy said a lot already. She said basically most of it, but my industry is entertainment, but we also do a lot of technical support. And she also mentioned the live streaming. And I think moving forward, we have stakeholders. Everyone is at the table. But in particular for how do we fix this industry? How do we move forward? Technology definitely is the way to go. So we've had some engagements where we had to put up the live streaming. So where there have been restrictions where you may just have one or two or three persons, now you could actually encompass up to 400 persons through use of technology.
Really?
Various platforms, you have the Zone that everyone knows about. Then we have other technical software such as OBS and YouTube, different platforms that you could use to get your event over. One thing in particular about the use of technology, let's just stick with the live stream. An important component of that is, it's just not an event, but it's also a documentation. So you can live stream an event, very safe in terms of COVID protocols, but that event now becomes on demand. So 2-3 years from now, you could just digitally revive that event and you have it right back where you need it to be. So there's a lot of strategies moving forward in terms of, hey, the event industry, we need to revive it. We need it going again. Technology definitely is the key with all stakeholders involved. Like I said, whether it be live streaming, where it be other technical services, just to keep everything nice and safe.
What do you guys tell a bride, right? you have brides who come with there's a vision, there's an idea in your head, right? And you want to get married, you don't want to delay your wedding, but at the same time, you don't want, in my head, I didn't envision my wedding having 400 people looking at me and I couldn't see them. In my head, my wedding was we all at the hotel in the ballroom, dancing, drinking it. I don't drink, eating, and everybody else drinking and having a good time. That's what you envision. You envision the church with all your family and friends, his side, your side, and the other side of people who weren't invited. So these are. So how do you tell a bride, or how do you tell the children who want to do something for their mother on her 75th? That okay, we're going to do something different. How are people receiving that? And is it catching on?
Yes, it is catching on. One thing again, we look at. Ken and I, we always go back and forth. He's more positive than I am. Yes. Is the glass half full or half empty? So I can't believe I'm about to say this. So with the pandemic, is the glass half full or half empty? And in this aspect, you look at it's half full because the pandemic has caused us to focus on what is more important. What is the most important thing? What is the purpose of you really wanting to do this event, to have this family reunion, to have this grand wedding, to have this incentive conference? What is the main purpose? And it causes you to now, once you can get your client to focus on it, it's about how you want them to feel. I want to show love. I want to show gratitude. So then we get away from, well, it wasn't really about having your 400 relatives there, and you can still have that experience. And we show them how we can have that experience. You can still have that experience. And like Ken said, when you tell a client, when you tell your bride or the siblings that you can document this and have this like it just happened 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you create the excitement and the interest around what technology can do to that event and how it is a whole lot more beneficial or equally beneficial. We understand now that nothing replaces that human touch, that human element, but we can get as close to that as possible and give that experience, no matter how much that bride or girl might say, I want a big wedding. If they truly want to get married, what they really, really want is to get married before their family and friends who know and love them. So do we have to physically be there to achieve that? No.
And I'll just interject there. 2020 coming into 2021, in particular the wedding industry, this new catchphrase came about: micro weddings. Mm-hmm. And it caught fire, and people actually were very receptive to it because
micro weddings.
Micro weddings. Yeah, that's new. That's the new thing. I think the first phrase came out was social distancing in terms of COVID, but in the event industry for us, it was micro.
Yeah, micro weddings is better.
Yeah. So so we had clients calling us, hey, can I have a micro wedding?
Yes.
What is a micro wedding? What is that? What is that?
Micro wedding, you have all the experience of doing the actual ceremony where you're still walking down the aisle, you're still saying your vows before your marriage officer, you have your photographer, the music, and all of that. What you don't have is 100, 200 people watching you physically. Recently, I did a micro wedding where it was just the bride and groom, and the entire family was there virtually. Okay.
So was it like a bunch of screens in the room, and they could see them?
No, it's just one screen. Just one screen. They can see. They know they're there. Or you can do it multi, and that's a micro wedding to the extreme. A micro wedding would have anywhere, depending on the venue space, would have anywhere up to about maybe a dozen, 2 dozen attendees in total. And everything else remained the same. So you have your small bridal party, okay? And they all understand why it's small. So you're made of one of your parents from both sides, best man, and you don't need more than that. Everyone else, now you can invite up to 500 people if that's what you want. And they're all experiencing it virtually. They're all there with you. So that relative who has some pre-existing condition can now experience your event, whether it's again your big 50th or a big 48th celebration. Almost any experience. You will see that at our upcoming conference, we have keynote speakers that are taking part in the conference, but they won't physically be there. But
right, and I think that part we're used to. We're used to that.
Yeah, so it goes back to, what do you want? Do you want the person physically there, or do you want their skills, their experience? Do you want them sharing their talents? So
how does it work with musicians? How does that work, Ken? How does that work with getting so are the musicians at the micro wedding, or are you guys like virtual too? Because I want my live band live.
Yeah. No. Well, at Expressions Entertainment, our logo is explore the possibilities. Okay, that's the logo for our business. And yeah, live, the technology allows you to get a live feed, whether it be a live band full or just a single person on a steel pan on the beach, or a violinist or a saxophone doing a cocktail hour, etc. The technology is in place to get all that done. So you can really and truly have a live experience sitting down right in front of your living room.
Now, I want to ask you this. Let's talk about the event that's upcoming, right? Because I think this is going to be helpful. And before I even get to that, because I want you to tell me that when we're leaving, right? If you had or needed assistance with anything and needed help, right? You needed help from to help the industry itself. What type of help or assistance does the industry need, either from a policy perspective or just from, businesses that work in the industry? What sort of work do you guys need? Help do you need? Sorry.
Well, when you look at the fact that I would say 80% of the growth of the event industry is as a result of the tourist market, we definitely cannot be successful without partnering with Ministry of Tourism, without partnership of the major stakeholders, the big boys in the industry, and particularly the hotels. Just you hear the cry from the entertainers often that we need the hotels utilizing us, trusting, like I said earlier, whether you're an individual client or the big boys, it's about trusting the professionals, trusting the Bahamian professionals, trust that you don't need to bring in your person from the US or Canada or London or wherever to get the job done. We are very experienced, intelligent, educated event professionals right here, homegrown in the Bahamas. At our event conference tomorrow, all our presenters are homegrown Bahamians, Grand Bahama and New Providence. We are participating. And not only are they homegrown, they are internationally used. They are presenters who have presented Bahamian presenters, presented all over the world. So we need the big boys, the big resorts, trusting in us, trusting in our entertainers, that they can give your guests the experience they came to the Bahamas for. People come to the Bahamas to experience the Bahamas. I had a couple of years ago, and this taught me a lesson in this business. I was speaking to a groom out of New York. He was coming from New York, and I asked, I was giving him options of venues, and I gave him a couple buildings, ballrooms and some beaches. He said, listen, I'm not coming to the Bahamas to have my event in concrete. If I want concrete, I'll stay in New York. I'm coming for a Bahamian experience. I come to the Bahamas for everything Bahamian. So that was a lesson for me. I did not have to be told that again by another client. I would rather my client tell me, no, I want to be indoors. And that comes up sometimes. But we need to understand, and more importantly, I think we need the hotels working with us. Because while we are event planners, designers, we're entertainers, we will be bringing the business here. We will always sell and push and market ourselves to bring the business. But we cannot provide accommodations. We are not lodges. We are not hoteliers. Yeah. So naturally, by the work we do, we are bringing business to your property. So don't turn around and don't use us. We have to. We have to use your property. We have to provide some place for our, we're bringing in, I'm working on bringing in a huge conference next year and talking about 200 to 300 people. Where am I going to house them? I have to go to the areas, right? But at the same token, when the hoteliers are having their event and bringing in their events, they're not turning to the local Bahamian professionals to now provide that service. So more than anything, I think that's what we need. I think every cake artist, florist, entertainer, event planner would say that. And you know what? I spread it around. Don't say, okay, I got Ken. And
don't have favorites.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, listen, favorites are good, That means that, hey, I trust you. I think that's also a thing too. That I trust you that every time I can get my business, I want this cake. I am certain when Cindy baked this cake,
that
chocolate right.
And that's what's starting our event industry now. What that causes is that one company, one individual will grow, and the rest of us who would have been in business the same amount of time, we still don't have that exposure and that experience because you got stuck with one person, which they shared around. And as an association, that's what we encourage our members to be like that. As a country, let's
do this because we got to go. I want you to tell people about this event now. Before we go.
Already?
We're switching gears. So tell people about this event right now, Cindy. Tell folks about the event.
Okay,
so the event is the Event Industry Conference. We're dubbing it the Renaissance. And basically, we're talking about the rebirth. And obviously, we mentioned it a lot in our talks, post-COVID, obviously, but also the rebirth in terms of what's new, what's cutting edge in the industry, okay, moving into the 21st century. We are inviting all stakeholders out in the event industry, all that Cindy mentioned prior, hoteliers, destination management companies, vendors such as musicians, entertainers, videographers, photographers, anyone that you would need to pull off an event. This conference is definitely for you. Typical conference style, where we have keynote speakers, we have breakout sessions, etc. But we have some secrets that we want to keep in the bag, some surprises and some prizes and some surprises and prizes. Sorry, but we'd also like to mention that we do feature an interactive trade show where we have local vendors coming in and selling their products in terms of this is what we can offer to your event industry. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. We are very excited. We're at Hilton. Event Industry 2021, and we cannot wait to go.
Yes, it is a 2-day event, 10 to 4, tomorrow and Thursday. Spend some time with us. You can still get ticket. Go to the Bahamas Bridal Association.com and register, get your tickets. We will be honoring and paying tribute to 4 unsung heroes in the event industry. Nahaja, I know you want to know who they are, so you need to come out. We'll tell you later when you bring us back on the show. But we have some unsung heroes that we need to recognize. I'll give you one hint. No, I won't. So come to our conference. Really, really appreciate you, Nahaja, for giving us this opportunity. You need to bring us back because there's a lot more we need to talk about to get this event industry the recognition that it deserves, but we are keeping the Bahamas rocking and giving the tourists things to do and to keep them coming back because we are giving them great service. We
got to take a quick break, but I want you to answer this question real quick for me. Ms. Miller asks, can you apply for a job in wedding planning under your association? Real quick for me, Cindy.
Not apply for a job, but we can help you be your own boss. So yes, reach out to me. She can reach out to me. Destination Cindy K at gmail.com. Destination at gmail.com. Yes.
Excellent. All right. You guys are the best. All right. Thank you so much, Ken and Cindy, Bahamas Bridal Association. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. You're listening to The Hit Back. We got to take a quick break. We will be back after this.
students in grade 4 to 12. You think you know about money? Well, the Central Bank of the Bahamas is giving you a chance to prove it and win cash in the 2021 Get Money Smart Bahamas Video Essay Competition. Can you tell us why you think the Bahamian economy is an ideal model for digital financial services? If you can, just produce a short video submission before October 22nd and show us you are money smart. Cash prizes will be given in various age categories, but you must get your parents' permission to enter. For more information, visit www.getmoneysmartbahamas.com or see our post on social media.
Sugar, sugar, let's get sugary. Softer, smoother, and amazing skin. Oh, sugar, sugar, we're the sugar ladies. Giving you skin soft as a baby's. Goodbye, hair, we'll take good care of you.
Come visit us at Bahar Treat Spa on East Bay Street. Contact us at 323-6711 or visit us online at www.baharetreat.com.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
You have a new text message from Scotia.
Scotiabank is adding text messaging to its communication channels to keep customers updated in quicker and safer ways. As of November 4th, Scotiabank will be using text messaging to provide notifications on the minimum payment required for your credit card and due dates. Customers may continue to access their credit card statements on Scotia Online or through our mobile banking app. Learn more by contacting customer care-bahamas at scotiabank.com or call 356-1697.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black. It's the hit back with Nahaja Black.
9 FM. I hope that everybody's doing well, taking care of yourself, enjoying your day. Listen, today has been a news day, right? It's been a fast-paced show. We've hit on a few topics. We've hit on the beginning of the show, food security, right? We need to be more secure. I got some of your text messages. I want to read on that too before I switch gears to my final guest today, because I really wanted to pack the show with some interesting topics, because tomorrow we switch. I want to do a show on race and space tomorrow with Dr. Nicolette Bethel, which is going to be very interesting. And that there, for y'all who are just new to the show, who tune in for a while, I like to deal with things that are, about the mindset, systemic things that will change our mindset to get to a next place, right? So that's important to me. Someone says, Nahaja, until we implement income tax, the government will continue to pay lip service to the idea of food security. They collect too much money and import duties to do otherwise. Someone says we can't progress in agriculture because we don't think on a global scale as far as production, supply, and shipping. Ms. Black, you're damn right. It took more than a week for agriculture to get a tire for the tractor, which means farms had to be distilled twice, I guess. You know how unnecessary the wear and tear is on the machines, not to mention the putback for farmers. There you go. Someone says the caller before lacks understanding in this topic. Food is the staff of life, not cars, clothes, etc. We need to teach our people to at least be subsistence farmers. Right now I have lychee nut trees. Nothing is impossible. Passivity, idealism, and hedonism will be our downfall. Say hedonism. Why you had to bring that up? Why you had to bring up hedonism? Some people go to the hotel. Like, why are you hating on? I'm just kidding. Do you know in Jamaica they have two hedonism hotels? 2. I wonder what that means about the people who go to the hotels, but we digress. Hey, Lady Black and guests. Many of the imported foods are rotten or spoiled, yet green or unripe. Why are they killing us for tax dollars and the real Bahamian farmers cannot reap any crops to feed our people and export? Why? From Grand Bahama. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole thing right there as well. Something else. So my good friend Clint Watson, will be hosting his first press briefing as the new press secretary. I went and I get back to my old habits of secretary. Yeah. That's how you know I'm Bahamian. Anyway, some people can't pronounce their H's. Don't judge me. So Clint will host Clint Watson. I don't know if I'm allowed to call him Clint anymore. Mr. Watson, his first press briefing will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. streaming live on Facebook at OPMBS. M as in money, B as in boy, S as in sanctuary. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. Wednesday, or should I say Wednesday. So he will be hosting his first press briefing. Of course, I'm tuned in. I'm totally tuned in to this now. I want to see it. Does Clint have to snap back, clap back at somebody? How will the reporters be? I can't wait. This is going to be exciting. I won't lie to you. I'm very excited. Someone says, yes, food security. So Clint Watson, his first official press briefing will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. We shall all be there in attendance to see how this goes. Very fascinating stuff. Shout out to my good friend who's doing his thing there at the office of the Prime Minister. So now I want to bring on this gentleman who he's a pretty sharp character. I like smart Bahamians and Bahamians who are not selfish. I wanted to get an initiative that he's doing to help Bahamians get into public health, right? And so I want to welcome him, Charles Hamilton. Charles, welcome to the Hit Back.
Good afternoon, Nahaja, and good afternoon, Bahamas.
It's a pleasure to have you on, Charles. Charles, tell people, because I know we're running out of time. Tell folks a bit about this initiative, this program that you are that you want them to know about, and what you're doing.
Sure, no problem at all. So I wanted Bahamians to be aware of the Europub Health Masters in Public Health program. It's an opportunity to be able to gain a double master's in public health, to be able to study in top universities across the UK and Europe, to be able to gain some amazing experience, trans-border experience in the field of public health, and also to be able to do all of that at no cost, because there are
Say it again, Charles. No cost.
At no cost, because there are some scholarships available that we want to make Bahamians aware of, because we know in this day and time, we need to be able to bolster our public health capacity nationally. And I believe that every single person has now heard of the epidemiologists and the public health specialists, and how important they are to ensuring that our countries and nations can be able to handle pandemics as they come up. And so tomorrow at 6 p.m. On Zoom, myself and other alumni of the Europub Health Program, we're hosting a webinar that is geared towards Caribbean nationals. The program is doing a webinar for people globally at 9 a.m. tomorrow. But we were like, you know what? People are beginning their workday, and that's geared towards the global population. We want to be able to ensure this that persons from this region can have an understanding of how the program was for us, how what was our experience, some tips on the application process, and we just want to get more Bahamians being able to study public health. We know that people, they tend to run towards North America because it's close. But the reality is that the master's program that I am hoping for people to join in is affordable even without the scholarship.
Which school? Where is this again?
It's in Europe. So there are 8 universities that are a part of this consortium that is funded by the European Union and the European Commission. I participated in the program in 2017 and 2019, and it was the most enriching experience I ever had. And I think it helped to really set a solid foundation for how I tackled national problems when I came back home in the Bahamas to support in many different national initiatives. So I want Bahamians to be able to go. I want to be able to help you all out. And we know that we're always crying that resources are thin. and I want to make sure that people can have this experience to improve their academic experience. So,
and right now, the program itself, Europub Health, they have scholarships, and you guys, Charles, you and another alumni are seeking to help Bahamians who are interested in public health, seeking to get their double masters or whatever in this field. And you're going to create, so you're creating a Zoom event tomorrow night, you said?
Correct. Tomorrow night.
Give us the details, please.
Sure. For those of you who want the direct Zoom info, you can enter in the following information. So that's B as a boy, I as in igloo, T as in Tom, dot, L as in lion, Y, / E as in egg, P as in Philip, H as in Harry, Caribbean Scholarship. It's a Zoom webinar. You can also find it on Facebook. I'll make sure to share the link with you.
And share it with me as well.
Right,
and that way they can find it on my page.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's easier to do as well. So send me all of this information, Charles.
No problem.
So that folks can have access. So they're able to reach you through
They can reach me through that same page. And I'm one of the co-hosts. So if they want to ask me any questions about the program, I'm willing to do it. I was the past president of the Student Alumni Association, so I know quite a fair bit about how this process works. So persons, jump on the opportunity, please. We never know how long these things can last, and I want to make sure that we can build capacity in country.
Thank you, Charles. I know the time is short, but I wanted to make sure we got this on air. I want you to send me all of that information. I listen, when you can get education that is quality education, accredited education, and it is at no cost to you, you run like a ninja. You throw your little star, those ninja stars, and disappear and grab that opportunity. Right. So, Charles,
and I just wanted to just say this as well. Like, so we want people to get the scholarships, but just in case if you didn't get a scholarship, please note that like the cost for the 2 years in total, your educational cost, I'm not talking about boarding and whatnot, was less than $20,000. High quality schools. That's
per year.
That's for over 2 years. So like it was about $9,000
B dollars
first year. B dollars, US
Euro.
dollars equivalent, right? And you will not get a master's program for less than $10,000 and getting 2 masters, right? So people, please jump on, join the webinar, and check out Nahaja's page where I'll share the info for you to join the event.
Charles, thank you so much. I appreciate what you're doing, and thank you for doing the webinar. We appreciate you. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
All right. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Okay, so full day. I move from topic to topic to topic. Main thing is sustainability. Just heard though, so if you're keeping up in Israel has decided that they are going to, for persons who are allergic to the Pfizer vaccine, the spike protein in the Pfizer vaccine, they're going to provide AstraZeneca. I think it's interesting now. We're admitting that there are people who may be allergic to the mRNA vaccines. There is more conversation to be had. I'm actually going to do a show talking about the various vaccines. What do they mean? Johnson & Johnson, the efficacy, the concerns with clotting. Then you have, of course, AstraZeneca, not approved in the United States, used all across Europe and Canada. Then you have your mRNA vaccines, such as Pfizer and Moderna. And they're saying, well, Moderna is better. And then we have the conflicting information from doctors like Dr. Chetty, from doctors like Dr. Kevin Bethel, saying that, hey, you're at risk, you're at risk choosing one or the other. And where is the conversation of outpatient therapy? Where is that conversation in our public health discussion and discourse? Do we wait until we're just too sick and then we end up to the hospital? What about all the people who don't have a primary healthcare physician? Where is NHI in saying, hey, We need to get more people with primary healthcare physicians so that the primary healthcare physician can provide you with outpatient therapy for COVID so that we don't have to all run to vaccines that may be making us sick, which is a possibility. Now, of course, we do know that it is, and I listened to my ad that was just playing, that they now are acknowledging, and we got to go, they're now acknowledging that, hey, it will help you not to, get deathly sick and die. I just found out a former MP who was fully vaccinated, now, of course, been reinfected with COVID-19. So again, this reinfections, the CDC has stopped taking data on that, the level of reinfections with regard to those who are getting reinfected. But they are studying the vaccines, right? Which one is far more credible? It's interesting. The data, it's all over the place right now, all over the place. I would say that we must remain sober and vigilant and safe. All right, everyone, have a great day. Tomorrow, we're talking with Dr. Nicolette Bethel. So headlines tomorrow, plus this conversation on race in space. The reason why I'm even doing that conversation, having that conversation, is because I think it's important that we understand that things that are the norm should not be the norm. Some things we should fight against because it should not remain normal. We miss the fact that live abroad and you'll realize that parks should be normal for health. Trails should be normal. But a lot of us can't even walk on the road or pull up in your house because you might get robbed in your driveway. We don't, and the new Minister of National Security saying, let's not count murders. I gotta go, just on that thought alone. All of a sudden, we don't want to count murders. Let's talk about rehabilitation. I'm totally with you. But y'all ain't stopped counting. Nobody ever stopped counting murders. Now let's not count murders. Anyways, everyone, shout out to my boy Clint. Tomorrow's first press briefing. Woo! Can't wait. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja, Black Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I'm out. See you tomorrow.
The Hits Back with Nahaja Black is sponsored by Central Bank, Bahamas Society of Human Resources, Baja Retreat and Spa, and Scotiabank.